She was just 12 when she lost everything: her parents, her sight, and her peace. But when they forced her to marry a poor man with HIV, everyone thought it was the end. Until something unimaginable happened. In a world where love should protect and family should care, lived a joyful little girl named Daisy, whose life turned dark on her 12th birthday when a tragic accident stole her sight and her parents. What followed next is a journey of pain, betrayal, and unthinkable cruelty from those she called family. Just when the world thought she couldn't endure more, Daisy was forced to marry a dying poor man battling HIV and AIDS, who no one wanted. But what came next left everyone speechless. Before we dive into today's gripping story, we want to take a moment to appreciate you, our amazing subscribers, new viewers, and the incredible community that makes Moonlight Tales by Samzy so special. Your likes, shares, and thoughtful comments mean the world to us, and we're beyond grateful for your support. If this is your first time here, welcome. You're in for a ride filled with drama, suspense, and unexpected twists. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest stories. And of course, drop a comment below. We love hearing from you, and your support keeps us going. Now sit back, relax, and let's dive right back into the story, because things are about to get even more intense. Once upon a time, in a quiet town filled with birds, trees, and sunshine, there lived a sweet little girl named Daisy. Daisy had the most beautiful smile and the warmest heart. She lived with her mommy and daddy in a cozy little house with red flowers by the window and a soft green yard where she loved to play. Every day in Daisy's home was full of laughter, hugs, and stories. Daisy's parents loved her more than anything in the world. Her daddy called her his sunshine, and her mommy always told her she was the most special gift in their lives. They played games with her, took her to the park, told her bedtime stories, and always made sure she had everything she needed. Daisy never went to bed sad. She always felt safe, happy, and very loved. She had a little teddy bear named Fluffy, and every night she hugged Fluffy as she slept peacefully between her parents. Her life was perfect, just like in a beautiful dream. Then came Daisy's 12th birthday. She woke up with a big smile on her face. Her mommy kissed her forehead and said, "Happy birthday, sweetheart." Her daddy lifted her up and spun her around. They all sang the birthday song together and had breakfast with her favorite pancakes and chocolate syrup. Daisy was so happy. She clapped her hands and danced in the kitchen. Later that day, her parents said, "We have a surprise for you. We're going to the amusement park." Daisy jumped up and down with joy. "Yay, I love the amusement park," she screamed. They all got dressed nicely, packed a little bag with snacks, and got into their family car. As they drove, Daisy looked out of the window, watching the trees go by. Her mommy played her favorite song on the car radio, and they all sang along. But soon, dark clouds covered the sky, and it started to rain. At first, it was just light rain. Then it became heavier. The wind blew strongly, and the road became wet and slippery. Daisy's daddy slowed down the car to drive carefully. "Hold tight, my loves," he said gently. "We'll get there safely." Daisy smiled and held her mommy's hand. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a big truck came speeding toward them. The truck was moving too fast, and the driver wasn't looking properly. He was drunk and swerving on the road. Before Daisy's daddy could move out of the way, the truck slammed into their car with a loud, horrible crash. The car spun around and flipped in the air. Glass broke, metal bent. Tires screeched. Everything became loud and scary. Daisy screamed, "Mommy! Daddy!" But then everything went dark. When Daisy opened her eyes again, everything was blurry. There were strange sounds, people shouting, footsteps running, and a loud ambulance siren. She was lying on the road with blood on her face, and her whole body hurt. She couldn't see clearly. "Mommy?" she whispered. "Daddy?" Strangers came and picked her up. They rushed her to the hospital. Nurses and doctors ran around trying to help her. Daisy couldn't understand what was going on. All she wanted was to see her parents and hear their voices, but they never came. Later, the doctor came to Daisy's bed. He had a sad look on his face. "Little one," he said gently, "you are very lucky to be alive, but I'm so sorry. Your mommy and daddy didn't make it. They are gone." Daisy didn't understand at first. She shook her head. "No, they're just hurt, right? They'll be okay." The doctor gently shook his head and held her tiny hand. "They're in heaven now, sweet girl." Daisy's heart broke into a million tiny pieces. She started crying and didn't stop. Her tears fell like rain as she screamed for her parents. She didn't want to believe it. She wanted to go back in time and stop the accident. She wanted one more hug, one more kiss, one more bedtime story. But none of that was possible anymore. As the days passed in the hospital, something else terrible happened. Daisy realized that she could no longer see. Everything around her was dark, and no matter how hard she tried to open her eyes or look around, nothing changed. The doctors ran tests and finally told her that the crash had damaged her eyes. Daisy was now blind, and alone. She cried even more. "Why didn't I die too?" she whispered over and over. "Why did God let me live without my mommy and daddy? Why take my sight too?" The nurses tried to comfort her, but nothing made her feel better. The world she knew, the colorful world full of love, flowers, music, and laughter, was gone. Now there was only silence, darkness, and pain. Soon someone came to see her at the hospital. It was her Uncle Tom, her daddy's younger brother. He looked very sad too. He knelt beside her bed and took her hand. "Daisy, I'm so sorry," he said, his voice shaking. "Your daddy was my big brother. I loved him very much. I'm here now and I'll take care of you." Daisy didn't say anything. She only cried more. But Uncle Tom gently wiped her tears and told her that everything would be okay. He hugged her and promised, "You're not alone, Daisy. I'll protect you." And so Daisy left the hospital and the place where her happy life had ended. She held Uncle Tom's hand tightly as they walked out. She didn't know what was waiting for her next. All she knew was that her world would never be the same again. But she didn't know the worst was yet to come. After the big accident that took Daisy's parents away and made her blind, her Uncle Tom came to the hospital to pick her up. He held her hand gently and said, "Don't worry, Daisy. I will take care of you now." Daisy could not see, but she could feel the sadness in his voice. She didn't speak much. Her heart was broken. All she wanted was her mommy and daddy back. When they got to Uncle Tom's house, his wife, Auntie Angela, welcomed them at the door. She smiled and hugged Daisy softly. "Oh, poor child," she said. "Come in, come in." She even gave Daisy a warm bath and fed her hot food. That night, Daisy felt a little better. Maybe things wouldn't be so bad after all. But that didn't last long. The next day was the funeral. People came from near and far to say goodbye to Daisy's parents. Daisy sat in the front, holding Uncle Tom's hand and crying. "Why, God, why didn't you take me too?" she kept saying. "Why did you leave me here like this?" Everyone could hear her pain. Uncle Tom's heart broke even more. He pulled her close and said, "You will stay with us forever, Daisy. I will be your father now." But Auntie Angela heard him. She was standing behind them. Her face changed. Her smile disappeared. She looked angry, very angry. She didn't say a word, but her eyes looked like fire. From that moment, everything changed. The day after the funeral, Auntie Angela woke up early and told Uncle Tom they needed to talk. She was not happy. "Why did you say Daisy will live here forever?" she asked. "She is not our child. We can send her to an orphanage. She will be better off there." Uncle Tom tried to explain. "She is my brother's daughter," he said. "We can't just throw her away. What if it was our daughter Naomi who lost us? Wouldn't you want someone to care for her?" But Auntie Angela didn't listen. She folded her arms and said, "You will regret this. I will not treat that girl like a princess in my house." And she meant every word. The very next morning, she woke Daisy up by pouring a full bucket of cold water on her. Daisy jumped up, soaking wet and shivering. "Get up, lazy girl," Auntie Angela shouted. "You are not here to rest." That was how the pain began. Sometimes Daisy dropped things by mistake. She couldn't see, so she didn't always know where things were. But Auntie Angela didn't care. "You're just a blind witch," she would shout. "You killed your parents with your bad luck." Those words hurt more than the beatings. Daisy cried almost every day. She cried when she worked. She cried when she sat alone in the corner. And she cried when she tried to sleep. Her small heart was full of pain. She missed her parents so much. She didn't know why she was still alive. Naomi, who was 15 years old, became just like her mother. She never helped Daisy. Instead, she made Daisy do everything for her. If Daisy was slow or tired, Naomi slapped her. "You're useless," she would scream. "Even a blind rat is better than you." Naomi even brought her friends to the house. She told them, "This is Daisy. She's our blind slave. You can tell her to do anything." And they did. They made her fetch water, clean their shoes, and sometimes they slapped her too. Daisy was too scared to say anything. She just kept crying quietly, wishing someone would help her. Uncle Tom tried to stop it at first. He told Angela to be kinder. He told Naomi to leave Daisy alone. But every time he spoke, there was trouble. Angela would scream and say, "If you care about Daisy so much, why don't you go marry her?" Uncle Tom got tired. He wanted peace in the house. So he stopped saying anything. He just watched, sad and helpless, while Daisy suffered. One time, Daisy was carrying a bowl of water. She thought it was dirty water from the kitchen, so she threw it away. But it was clean water. Angela was very angry. "You waste everything in this house," she yelled. "Now you will drink dirty water for being so foolish." She made Daisy drink the water used to wash raw fish. The water smelled horrible. Daisy cried and begged, but Auntie Angela didn't care. "You will drink this every day for 6 months," she said. "That's your punishment." Every day Daisy woke up tired and sore. Her tiny body was weak, but she had no choice. She prayed every night, asking God to take her away. She wanted to be with her mommy and daddy in heaven. She didn't want to live like this anymore. But God didn't take her, and the pain didn't stop. Daisy was just a little girl, blind and alone in a house full of hate. She had no one to hug her, no one to tell her she was loved. Every kind word she ever knew was gone. All she had were cruel voices, hard hands, and tears that never stopped falling. Still, deep inside her heart, a small hope remained. She didn't know how or when, but she hoped just maybe one day things would change. From the first day Daisy started living with Auntie Angela, things began to change. At first, Auntie Angela was kind and spoke softly, but that didn't last long. After the funeral of Daisy's parents, when Uncle Tom told Daisy she could stay with them forever, Auntie Angela became very angry inside. She didn't show it that day, but something in her heart turned cold. That was the beginning of Daisy's hard and painful life. Auntie Angela made a list of rules for Daisy to follow. The first rule was, no sleeping more than 4 hours a day. That meant Daisy had to wake up very early and could only rest very late at night. If she was caught sleeping during the day, she would be beaten with a cane. The second rule was, you must do all the house chores. Daisy had to sweep the whole house, wash all the clothes, clean the kitchen, and mop the floor. She had to do everything by herself, even though she was blind. The third rule was the hardest. You must take care of Naomi like a servant. Naomi was Auntie Angela's daughter. She was 3 years older than Daisy and treated her like a slave. Daisy had to cook for Naomi, wash her clothes, serve her food, clean her room, and even help her dress up sometimes. Another painful rule was, you only eat once a day, and that one meal came only after all the chores were done. Sometimes Daisy was so hungry her stomach hurt, but she had to wait. If she complained, Auntie Angela would say, "You're lucky we even feed a witch like you." Yes, Auntie Angela called Daisy a witch. She said Daisy used her witchcraft to kill her own parents and make herself blind. Daisy cried and begged, saying she didn't know anything about witchcraft, but Auntie Angela never believed her. Instead, she made it a habit to say hurtful things. "You're the reason your parents are dead. You brought sorrow into our home. Your blindness is punishment for your evil." Daisy heard these words every day. They were like sharp stones thrown at her heart. And every time she made even a small mistake, she got beaten. Auntie Angela would use a wooden spoon, a broomstick, or even her bare hands. One day, Daisy tripped over a stool and broke a plate. Even though she tried to explain that she didn't see it, Angela gave her 10 slaps and locked her in the storeroom for hours without food. Daisy cried so much that day, but no one listened. Uncle Tom tried a few times to stop his wife, but she would scream and say he loved Daisy more than his own daughter. She told him to mind his business. After a while, Uncle Tom stopped trying. He just watched and said nothing. Daisy's heart broke. She didn't understand why anyone would treat her like that. Every day felt like a nightmare she could never wake up from. She missed her parents so much. She missed her warm bed, her mother's hugs, and her father's kind smile. She prayed every night, asking God to let her die. She said, "Dear God, please let me come to heaven. I want to be with Mommy and Daddy. I don't want to suffer anymore." But morning would come again, and with the morning came more beatings, more hunger, and more hurtful words. Daisy felt alone in the world. No one loved her. No one protected her. Her eyes couldn't see, and her heart was tired. Still, Daisy never gave up on praying. Even though she was weak, her spirit kept whispering, "Maybe one day, someone will save me. Maybe one day, life will change." But that day didn't come soon. Things only got worse. Naomi, her cousin, had been mean to her before, but now she was even crueler. She would throw her clothes on the floor and shout, "Daisy, pick that up and wash it. That's what you're here for." Every day was the same. Daisy would wake up early, do all the chores, get shouted at, beaten, and insulted. She ate only once a day, and that meal was never enough. Most nights she went to sleep with her stomach rumbling, her body aching, and her heart full of pain. Still, Daisy never stopped talking to God. Every night before sleeping, she whispered with tears, "Please, God, take me to my parents. I want to be with them. I don't want to suffer anymore." But death did not come, and each morning she woke up to another day of sadness and pain. After 4 long years of making Daisy suffer, Auntie Angela finally made up her mind. She didn't want to see Daisy in her house anymore. Just looking at Daisy made her angry. Even though the blind girl never complained, Angela hated how she moved slowly, feeling the walls to find her way. She hated how Daisy cried quietly at night. She hated how Daisy still breathed. To her, Daisy was nothing but a curse, and now she wanted her gone, see forever. One sunny afternoon, Auntie Angela was sitting with her friend Brenda in the living room. They were talking and laughing when Angela suddenly sighed loudly. "I'm tired, Brenda," she said. "That blind girl is still living with us, like she owns the house. I've tried everything, shouting, beating, starving her, but she still won't leave. My husband keeps saying she's family, but I'm done. I need her out." Brenda sipped her drink and looked around, then leaned forward. "Do you really want to get rid of her?" she asked quietly. Angela's eyes lit up. "More than anything in this world." Brenda nodded. "Then I have a perfect idea." Angela sat up straight. "Tell me." "There's a man in my neighborhood," Brenda began. "His name is Sylvester. He's very poor. I mean, dirt poor. He doesn't even have a proper house, just a small, broken wooden shack. He eats maybe once a day, but that's not all. He's also sick. Very sick." Angela raised her eyebrow. "What kind of sickness?" "HIV," Brenda whispered. "He found out last year. Since then, nobody wants to go near him. Everyone is afraid. He says he wants to get married before he dies. He's looking for a girl, any girl who will marry him and maybe have a child." Angela's eyes opened wide. She sat back and started to smile. Brenda smiled too. "Marry Daisy to him. That way she'll leave your house, and she won't ever come back. She'll be someone else's problem." Angela clapped her hands and laughed. "Brenda, you are a genius. This is the best idea ever. She's blind, and he's dying. What a perfect match." That same night, Auntie Angela made her husband's favorite food. She welcomed him warmly and served him like a queen. Uncle Tom was surprised because it had been a long time since Angela treated him kindly. After dinner, Angela sat beside him and said, "Tom, we need to talk about Daisy." Tom sighed. "What about her now?" Angela folded her arms. "She's 16. She's old enough to marry." Tom looked at her with confusion. "What are you talking about? Daisy is just a child." "She's not a child anymore. She's a grown girl, and she's becoming a burden. It's time she left this house," Angela said coldly. Tom raised his voice. "Left to go where? She's blind. She can't take care of herself." Angela leaned in closer. "She won't be alone. There's a man who wants to marry her. He's poor, but he needs a wife. This is her chance." Tom was shocked. You want to marry Daisy off to a man we don't even know? Angela nodded. Yes, his name is Sylvester. He has HIV, but he's quiet. He won't hurt her. Uncle Tom stood up. Are you insane? You want to give a blind girl to a man with HIV? That's not a marriage. That's punishment. Angela stood up too. I don't care. I want peace in my home. Every day it's always about Daisy. You care more about her than your own wife and daughter. She's my niece, Tom shouted. My brother's child. Angela rolled her eyes. And if it were the other way around, would your brother allow our Naomi to live in his house and bring nothing but bad luck? That girl is a witch. She killed her parents and brought sorrow to this house. Tom shook his head and walked away. But Angela didn't stop. Every night, she brought up the topic. Sometimes she shouted, sometimes she begged. Sometimes she refused to speak at all until Tom gave in. She made his life hard every day. She told him that Daisy was ruining their marriage, that Naomi was not safe with a cursed girl living under the same roof, that if Tom truly loved his family, he would let Daisy go. For weeks, Tom fought back. He told her she was heartless. He said she had no mercy. But slowly her words began to eat into his mind. He was tired of the arguments. He was tired of the shouting. He was tired of living in a house filled with anger. One night, after 3 months of pressure, Tom gave in. Fine, he said in a low voice. If that's what you want, do it. But don't ever ask me to be part of it. Angela's face broke into a wide smile. Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much. He didn't reply. He just stood there, his heart broken, knowing deep down he had failed his late brother. The next morning, Angela ran to Brenda's house and gave her the good news. Together, they started making arrangements. Brenda spoke to Sylvester, who was surprised but happy. No one had ever offered to marry him since he became sick. Angela didn't waste time. She didn't tell Daisy the truth. She simply told her, "You're getting married soon." Daisy was shocked. Married? To who? You'll find out on your wedding day, Angela said coldly. Daisy cried and begged. Please, Auntie, don't do this. I don't want to get married. I'm still young. I'm blind. I can't even take care of myself. Angela slapped her. You better be thankful someone wants you at all. Daisy turned to her uncle. Uncle Tom, please help me. Don't let them do this. But Uncle Tom looked away. His lips were tight and his eyes were filled with sadness. He didn't say a word. Daisy's heart shattered. She knew then that she had no one. The world had turned its back on her. She returned to her tiny corner and cried all night. She didn't sleep. She just kept asking God, why me? And as she cried, Auntie Angela was already picking the ugliest clothes for Daisy to wear on her wedding day. Her plan had worked, and she couldn't wait to see Daisy leave her house for good. Then the wedding day came. It was not like other weddings. There was no joy, no music, no dancing. There was no cake, no guests, no flowers. It was a sad and quiet wedding. Only Daisy, the poor sick man, his 2 friends, and Uncle Tom's family were there. Nobody came to celebrate with her. Before the wedding, Naomi came into Daisy's small room and said, It's time to make you look beautiful. But Daisy could hear the mocking tone in her voice. Naomi didn't want to help her. She wanted to embarrass her. She picked up the brightest and ugliest makeup she could find. She smudged red lipstick all over Daisy's mouth and made her face look like a clown. Then she threw an old torn dress at her and said, Here, wear this. It fits a witch like you. Auntie Angela laughed when she saw Daisy. Perfect, she said. That's exactly how she should look. She's not a real bride anyway. Daisy stood still with tears running down her face. Her hands trembled as she touched the old dress and messy makeup. She could not even see what she looked like, but she could feel the shame in everyone's voices. She wanted to run away. She wanted to hide, but there was nowhere to go. No one would help her. During the wedding, Daisy said nothing. The poor sick man stood beside her and whispered something, but she didn't even hear him. Her mind was full of sadness. Her heart was full of pain. She wished her parents were there. She wished they could hold her, hug her, and tell her everything would be all right. But they were gone, and now she was alone. After the wedding, Auntie Angela clapped her hands and said, Finally, peace in my house. Naomi danced around and shouted, Goodbye, witch. Go and die with your poor, sick husband." They laughed as Daisy was led to the man's friend's bike. Daisy held tightly to the edge of her old dress. She couldn't see the bike, but she could feel the wind and hear the engine start. As the bike began to move, she turned her head back one last time, even though she couldn't see anything. She could still hear Auntie Angela laughing. She could still hear Naomi mocking her. She could still feel the pain in her chest. But most of all, she felt empty, like her heart had been taken away. Tears rolled down her cheeks as the bike moved faster. She didn't say goodbye to anyone. No one wished her well. No one told her to be strong. It was like she didn't matter. She sat quietly on the back of the bike, her hands on her lap, her eyes filled with tears. She whispered, "Mama, Papa, I miss you. Please take me with you. I don't want to live like this anymore." But the wind just blew gently across her face, like a soft whisper from heaven. Daisy didn't know where she was going. She didn't know how life would be in her new home. She didn't know if the man would treat her better or worse. But one thing she knew was that she had never felt more alone in her life. And so Daisy left the only home she had known since the death of her parents. It was a place full of pain, but now she was going to a new place with fear in her heart. She was just 16 years old. She was blind, she was broken, but she was still alive. And somewhere deep inside her, a tiny hope still lived. Maybe, just maybe, something good would happen one day.